All right, we figured we'd take this example. We just got stuck down here in South America pretty bad at a little river crossing. We were actually going to do this video. We checked the river. It was a relatively shallow river. Relatively seemed like a hard bottom at the time. We were going to pull into the river, do this little video on recovery tools and what we keep for recovery equipment in the vehicle. Well, we ended up getting stuck. Two-man unit, myself, my assistant, my cameraman friend that's shooting the video right now, and that's it. So we're here basically in the rainforest, and I figured that I would give you guys the little rundown of the recovery tools. So what ended up happening was the sand turned into quicksand, the truck sunk down, and we had to use the high lift jack to jack up 3 different corners. We had to get river rocks, pile river rocks underneath the truck. We had to use the jack plate for the high lift jack, otherwise the jack wouldn't have worked. And we had to use the winch. So let me start here with the winch. We got a Warren VR 8,000 pound winch, and we got snatch blocks. Snatch blocks double the power of the winch. We didn't even need the snatch blocks for that because we built up the truck. We jacked it up on all sides, built it up with rocks, built a path coming out of the river. We got this Warren VR 8,000 pound winch. It's an 8,000 pound winch. So basically we also have a remote that we keep in the center console. It plugs in right here, and the cord can run around to the driver. What we did earlier was my assistant filmed, and I drove the truck out while winching the truck out, which is a great thing that you can do with the winch and the Warren with the handle that plugs in and a cord that runs back. It's fine. You just either run it through your window, put the window down a little bit, run it through your window, and you're good to go. So didn't have to use our snatch cable because we didn't have another vehicle with us. But like I said, as you can see, that's the Warren winch. You got to make sure you have these rollers on there, okay? And you got to make sure that you're careful with your connection here on the end, that you don't, because mine's getting worn out a little bit after 5 years of a lot of winching, a lot of overland expedition. You want to be very careful with that. That's why you want to use snatch blocks or some kind of tow straps when you wrap it around a tree, wrap it around what you're wrapping around, and then hook your tow cable to that. Try and keep that straight, that hook on the winch, and then you won't need any of those bullcrap aftermarket mall crawler additions for the end of your winch. All right, the next thing on the list is the high lift jack and jack plate. I'll show you guys the high lift jack. It's actually on this side of the truck. The high lift stays right here. Okay, I keep my high lift jack bolted on, and I keep so it doesn't get it's less likely to get stolen. Keeping it bolted on tight with 3 different bolts keeps an honest man honest. It doesn't keep anybody from stealing it. I don't keep it locked. But keeping the bolts tight keeps an honest man honest, and I have a proto socket set in the truck as well as all the rest of my tools. But that high lift is absolutely essential to any kind of overland expedition recovery equipment. Gotta have a high lift jack, okay? Gotta have attachment points on the bumper. I showed you guys the front bumper. There's multiple attachment points, and I showed you guys the military tow cable on the front bumper. I got this, which I just pulled somebody out yesterday.
Bien que vamos más tarde, porque nosotros solo vamos a ir a conseguir algo.
No, ni lo recuerdo.
Ni la toqué.
I got a tow strap, threw the tow strap on here, hooked the tow strap to his chassis, and pulled him out. The ball makes it really easy. I don't even need to use these all the time. These are also, I welded these on aftermarket. They didn't come with the bumper, but you got to have hookups, man. You got to have hookups. We can hook to the, if the truck rolls over, I can hook anywhere on the roll cage or to the rock sliders. It's all integral to flip the truck back over. All right, the truck was rolled over one time. You can see right here how this is all dented in. I had the truck rolled over down in a ditch. down there, I completely crushed all this. I bent most of this back out. Had to pull the truck back over. All right. So the next thing on the list, we got the jack plate. That jack plate, like I just said, we were winching. When the truck sinks, if it's in mud, if it's in sand, it's likely that just sticking a high lift jack underneath it, the jack's just going to sink down with it. So you got to have a jack plate. Let me show you guys that jack plate. Obviously, a spare tire. Obviously, spare tire is extremely essential. This one just happens to have one of the new models of the Bone Tactical Tomahawks. Another extremely important piece of kit. As the swing on, as the turn on, so I just turn this sucker here, unscrew it, got my spare tire ready to go. Full-size spare bead lock. Gotta have it. Gotta have at least one. Alright. Toolbox. External toolbox. Saves a ton of room. I could have even a bigger toolbox. I don't need a bigger toolbox. I keep little bags in here. Let me show you guys the little bags I keep in here. Everything's organized. All right, everything. Everything has its own place. Only bags in here. Because it's a vertical top feeding toolbox, you gotta have bags to organize it. That's how you organize it. It doesn't have shelves. It doesn't have anything else, but it's aluminum, it's light. It takes those bags, and it's great. I got two of these heavy duty if I need them for whatever purpose or reason. I got a bag full of tie downs and ratchet straps. Right now we're kitted out with a lot of different stuff, a few different things we're doing. We're doing some training with a bob dummy. We did some, as you probably saw on the roof, we had some axles for axle deadlifts. So we're in the middle of not only we were doing a photo shoot, video shoot, workout for Chaos and Pain supplements, www.chaosandpain.com. Strongest supplements, purest and most powerful supplements in the world. Everything on the label in Chaos and Pain supplements is actually what's in it, which is rare in the supplement industry. So you're getting what you pay for, and they're made in an FDA certified facility. Check it out yourself. Email me if you want a free sample. I'll give you a free sample, completely free. Greg@chaosandpain.com. No questions asked. All right, next thing we got going here. I keep most of my recovery equipment in this drawer right here. The high lift jack plate. As you can see, it was just used. It's still wet. All right, high lift jack plate. It just saved us. We would have been stuck down here in South America. Would have had to have some donkeys pull us out, or I mean, there's guys coming through every once in a while and some beat up old trucks, but nothing with the caliber that can do the kind of river crossings and stuff that we're trying to do. We keep jumper cables in here. We keep jumper cables in here at all times, jumper cables. I keep extra oil, you know, oil, jumper cables. I keep also an oil filter. All right, all my fluids. I keep transmission fluid. I also keep a thing of transmission fluid and a thing of oil in the cabin. I keep road flares and triangles, the extra large kit of road flares and triangles, because you have to have them legally down here in South America, and if you don't want to pay the police every time you get to a checkpoint, you got to do that. All right, you got to have all your legal equipment. Toe straps. Toe straps are super important. It's got to have some toe straps. Spare tire, we talked about that. Sand skids. We use the sand skids today. Let's see, the sand skids are over here. These are Smitty built sand skids. Okay, I've used them twice. They're absolute shit. They're terrible. They're broken. One broke off on one end. The other one broke in half today. The first time I used it, it ripped all the traction off of them. There's supposedly better kinds out there. Don't get a Smitty built one. I have a Smitty built compressor. That brings us to the next thing in our recovery equipment. If I need to air up, air down my tires, I can air up and air down my tires and airbags in the back with my Smitty built compressor right here. Okay, so I'll give you a little example. I'm a little bit off kilter here, so I'm at 40 pounds on one side and 35 on the other. This allows me to have an uneven load because you never know what's going to be on one side of the truck, what's going to be on the other side of the truck. It allows me to keep the truck level under any situation, no matter what. That covers everything for the vehicle recovery. You want to be, if you're going to be going alone, we don't recommend going alone. We go alone sometimes. Sometimes we have no choice. We're in the area that we're at right now. There's not really very many expedition vehicles. There's very few, if any. Right where we're at right now, we are the only expedition vehicle. The only really truly off-road capable vehicle. And this is not even a mud truck, it's just an expedition vehicle. I'm running 35-inch tires, mud tires, but a crossover mud tire like we talk about in the tire video. So if you're gonna go by yourself, if you're gonna be out by yourself, far away from any kind of help, there's no AAA down here, there's no nothing, okay? It can be dangerous. We're gonna do another video on security. But make sure you have at least these few essential things that I talked about as far as vehicle recovery equipment. Bone out.